All right, people, it's the bonus episode. How are you? Okay. If you caught the Septima Clark episode, thank you. If you haven't, go back and watch it, baby, because we are defending literacy in that episode. But this one is different. For 30 episodes, we've studied architects, builders of institutions, defenders of learning, designers of systems, protectors of truth. But today, I want to talk to you about why this matters deeply to me. Because literacy is not theoretical, it is personal. And globally, it is urgent. And so I thank you for being a part of these last 30 days with me. And I welcome you back to the bonus episode of The Reset. So, I want to make sure I put this back up on the stage so we are on the same page. I'm a poet some days. what what's going on in the world is a global matter and is pushing into a global matter. And part of the development goals out of the UN, even back when I was studying there, was education. And so, on a global scale, education is still not guaranteed. And if we are heading towards a war, or I like to believe that we're in one, but if one touches our soil, literacy is about to be disrupted for a lot of people. It's already being disrupted for those on the opposite side of the globe. But it'll be a matter of time. If anything is to occur, you heard it here with me, that we'll be seeing some things get disrupted on our own soil. And for me, that's an issue because that type of setback, if we think, let me go here with it. If we think C-19 was a setback, and those of us in education know it wasn't just a setback, it was also a highlight, then we have no idea of what the impact will be if anything as disastrous comes to our land. And so millions of children lack access to quality schooling. Millions more attend school but cannot read proficiently. Hello, somebody. We're in a crisis right now when it comes to literacy. Education is not equally distributed. Opportunity is not equally distributed. And literacy sits at the center of that gap. Literacy is more than just reading words. I've echoed that through numerous episodes. It is access to information, employment, civic participation, entrepreneurship, innovation, and purpose. Education is one of the strongest markers for poverty reduction worldwide. It was one of my reasons for joining into the education space. I didn't go to school for education. Education called me because it was a global issue, and I had in my core of beliefs that all children needed access to quality education, regardless of their race, regardless of their gender, regardless of their religion. The things that divide us in this current world the most. And as technology advances, our children not need to know just the basic skills, but the tools so that they are not replaced by tech. When literacy rises, economic mobility increases, health outcomes improve, and communities stabilize. Literacy is not just academic, it's structural. I believe education changes trajectories. It could have changed mine. A little girl who grew up in Queensbridge houses in New York City, the largest housing development in the US of A, where you have crime, you have drugs, you have things that I don't even feel like mentioning, right? And so when I look at life and I go through things and I go through reflection moments of my own journey, I'm like, wow, somebody of your background, right? Because people judge you just based on where you grow up. They have no idea what you can even bring to the table. I've been there, I've fought for that, and I've argued against it, right? And so if you only knew where I came from as a young Black girl growing up in the projects, you may, depending on your own mindset and beliefs, say, oh, that girl is destined to fail, right? She's Black, she's female, she's in a poor environment, checks all the boxes for someone who is supposed to fail. Oh, excuse me, y'all. As I don't want to be too emotional on this thing, but it is what it is. And so to know that the Most High had ordained this whole different plan, right? As a young girl, I used to say, I chose to come here. I chose to do something. And by God, if it didn't open and unfold before my face, I wasn't going to school for education. I've said that before. I don't own or have a teaching license. They say God will make room for your gifts and place you in the rooms that you're supposed to be in. I'm living proof of that. I don't shy away from it. I'm not timid by it. I'm not intimidated by those who possess the degrees in that space. I got in where I got in where I can get in, and I learned along the journey. I learned by being hands-on. I've sat in people's classrooms to learn. I jumped in on the opposite end of this, right? I joined in the school community through administration. I came in through administration. I did not come in through as a teacher. And while most people would come in as a teacher and work their way up to administration, I took my route from education and administration and worked my way down. And I don't want to say down, but I worked my way towards the opposite direction as teaching. I was interested. I sat with students who came from all over the globe, right? Again, I'm studying at the UN to be a part of the UN, to be maybe even at the White House, not with this current administration, but you get the point. And I got children from all over the globe to work with. Different beliefs, different home structures, different religions and spiritual practices, different races, ethnicities, and nationalities. And I treated everyone as my own baby and still do. And so for me, it was intentional and intensive for me to learn everything that I can encompass and say, how can I help? Because I'm the type of person that if I'm in the space, I'm going to help. I'm not going to just sit there and let things fall apart, knowing what I know. That's not it, because I'm a trained strategist, right? You don't study political science and government and not become a strategist, a historian, a trend watcher. And so for me, sitting there like, oh, I just want to support a literacy company or something like that one day. I remember saying it in 2004, 2008, I mimicked one, 2010, I built one. And there's nothing but the Most High got in the way on that. And for whatever you believe, I respect everybody's differences in belief. But for me, I will always say that Reading for Smiles was God's program. Why? Because everything that could have been an issue and became an issue was resolved. Any fear, doubt, or gumption I may have had that would push hesitancy was cleared. I went from learning to leading. And mind you, I was already a leader before learning. And let that be a nugget for other people who sit in positions of leadership. Never stop learning. Never stop looking at what's taking place from ground level to top level. Never stop improving. Never stop checking in. Never stop caring about the work that you do. And that's real for me. Super real for me. I don't lead the same way as others. I never had a problem with rolling up my sleeves. And so I did that so that I can create one of the best programs that Queens ever had to offer. No one else years ago was thinking about financial literacy in the same aspect that I rolled it out. I had children doing business expos. I'd included not only people from the community, but people who worked in businesses in the community. Board members of mine sat as panel judges, listening to these young, beautiful minds and spirits create businesses at the tender age of 7, teaching them how to stand forward, face forward, present, give it all you got. You fail here because this place is safe. You have questions, you question here because this place is safe. Something I always tell my students, I will never lie to you and I will never steer you in the wrong direction. I don't know what you're called to do. I don't know what you may want to do. But I pray that you get there and you do it with excellence. And because you don't know who's sitting in your classroom, who's the next leader, who's the next community activist, who's the next doctor, the next actor, all of these people, all of these positions, these titles have platforms. And so I always encourage my students not only to explore so that you can dig deep on your own interests, but also for you to find out what really speaks to you and to get experience in it and go push the envelope because that's what the world needs. People who are not afraid to push the envelope with the basis of humanity in mind, not to crash it, not to harm people, but to build people, to build capacity, to build communities, to build solid families. And so, yes, we're hosting business expos with our youngest friends at 7. And then I'm hosting these things annually. And so if you were there with me one year, you could not do the same business the next year or the year after that. And so when you leave Reading for Smiles summer camp and you go to middle school or even high school, you have 3 to 4 business ideas underneath your belt. And you haven't even finished the K-12 system yet. We put limitations on people and we should stop because what you're limited by, this person may not be. And I always taught my students that. And another thing I always taught them is to voice. Voice. Discuss it. The intellectuals, we discuss things. We can debate it, we can agree, we can disagree, but we can have a discussion at the end of the day. Be articulate. And there's not one baby who hasn't come back to me and said thank you. Even the ones who couldn't, like, oh my God, when it came to writing, no, everybody is upset. Everybody had attitudes. And then one day, they entered a classroom that required more and made their way back to the school to say, thank you, Miss Robinson. Do you know that I'm writing better than my peers? Do you know that they were all sitting there struggling with essays and I'm now helping the teacher help them? Do you know that I was able to write one of the best essays and get into college? My job has been done. My job has been done. And so I take my role in education very serious. I don't know what other people do. I know what I do. And I stand as a gap holder for many when it comes into this literacy space. And so, yes, I can honestly say I truly believe that when children can read, they can succeed. They get to explore ideas independently, learn new skills without gatekeepers, access opportunity without waiting for permission. We're not waiting for permission. Literacy unlocks potential, and potential, when developed, becomes impact. This is why I advocate. This is why I build. This is why I speak. And because I have seen what happens when children are underestimated, and I have seen what happens when they are equipped, education will always be a sector for me. And education will always allow children to discover their gifts, their talents, their voice, their greatness. Not everyone will become a scholar, but everyone deserves access to discovery. Poverty is not only financial, it is informational. When people lack access to quality reading instruction, critical thinking training, skill development, entrepreneurial frameworks, they are often locked out of opportunity cycles. Education disrupts that. Literacy builds independence. It allows individuals to start businesses, understand contracts, navigate systems, advocate for themselves, and lead communities. Literacy is leverage, and leverage changes families for generations. And so, over these 30 episodes, we've explored again identity, discipline, integrity, institution building, environmental design, defending the right to learn, legacy. But information alone does not build the movements, community does. Architects do not build alone, they collaborate, they sharpen one another, they refine blueprints together. And that's why this cannot end as just a podcast series or a YouTube series. It must become a community because out here, the world is changing. And if we don't have a plan for our children, other people will. If you believe that education should be empowering, Literacy should unlock opportunity. Children deserve access to excellence, to be supported by those who care. Families can build sustainable learning ecosystems. You can. You can. And so I invite you to join us inside our school community. Oh, Lord, I didn't even know I didn't take Septima out. That's funny. I'm looking, I'm like, why I Septima up there? But if you feel called to the movement, if you feel called to be an architect in your child's life, if you feel like you want to lead the way, then yes, join me. Join me. Again, as I said before, nothing to lose, everything to gain. Inside the school community, we are building literacy strategy workshops, homeschool architecture frameworks, skills-based curriculum design, civic literacy conversations, global awareness discussions, accountability for execution. This is not passive content consumption. This is collaborative building. This is where literacy advocates and gathers. This is where architects sharpen their tools. I feel like if there's something that we can take from this as an actionable step, besides joining the group chat, it's to build with purpose and intent. Connect whatever you're teaching to real life. Connect whatever you're teaching to let them feel empowered. Connect whatever you're teaching to something that's going to move them along their journey. Share what you're learning. Invite other families over. Host discussions. Multiply the access and the support around your homeschool family. Think beyond your household. Your child's literacy will literally ripple outward. Design for that, build for that, have integrity and authenticity around that, because they deserve it. Your family deserves it. And that's not me blowing smoke, because that's not even my personality. This is me speaking genuinely from the heart. When I think of these children, they deserve the best. They deserve the fun. They deserve the support. They deserve the love. They deserve the creativity. They deserve people in their corner that's cheering them as guides on the side. And so even if you're auntie or uncle and you're watching this, you're like, I don't homeschool. You too can be a support. Ask the children what are they learning. Do a hands-on project with them. Let them present what they just learned to you. There's so many ways that we can engage our family. And I actually implore the homeschool families who have those family members who don't know what to say to you or who want to question your choice about homeschooling, to let them help, to let them watch, to let them sit back and see your child blossom before their eyes. And if you like me, there's certain people like, catch the video. Catch the video. Here's my child doing this. Catch the video. My last words to everybody, though, for this series. If education is the marker that can reduce poverty, if literacy is the gateway to purpose, If children deserve access to their own potential, then we cannot wait. We build, we advocate, we create access, and we defend the right to learn. This has been the Literacy Reset, but this is only the beginning. I pray that everyone who watches this video connects to this video. It's not going to be for everybody. It's not. And I'm okay with that, because I'm talking to the people who I do connect to, who get what I'm saying without having a second doubt or question about it. Right? I don't want to serve or work with people who don't get it, or who like, oh, the children. Yeah, no. I'm looking for the people who get it, who are like, yes, we're going to do whatever it takes for our kids. This is for you. This is your space. You can feel free to ask questions in the comments, go through different videos, get ideas. That's what I'm posting them for. That's what I'm posting them for. When I first started Reading for Smiles, I was only charging $5. Actually, my first price was $3, and I had children for 4 hours plus fed them snacks. That's me. That's not fluff. That's not gimmicks. We have enough of frauds out here in this space. I've never taken my role lightly when I started or to this day. And so join us. All the links are in the description. And let's build something that outlives us and that sets our children up for the win. I'm teaching again tonight at about 7 or 7:30, I believe. Enroll in the Roadmap Intensive. That's 4 weeks. We're ironing it out. We're figuring it out for your family. I want to take the guesswork out of education and prep our children up. The best thing we could ever do is equip our children. And so, thank you. This has been the Literacy Reset. And I pray that you and yours stay well.